I'm Jono, and I'm fat. Now, if you're also a larger person, you may have had people say to you, have you considered Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all these other things? And maybe you've thought, is it just a placebo? Is it something that actually works? I've had a quick look around the internet. Most of the people using this stuff are of the skinnier kind, and they do say they have positive effects. But how is it in a real case? I'm yet to see a big person who has a consistent history of weight loss and then weight gain, the classic yo-yo dieter, which I would definitely feel like I'll fit into the category of, with some actual history to the weight loss where we can look back and compare a like for like based on what they did previously versus how it works, doing the same thing but with Mounjaro. Now let me tell you a bit about my weight loss history. So like many of the bigger people out there, you probably had a history of weight loss, dieting, all that kind of fun stuff. Mine started for me back in 2019, before COVID was a thing. Oh, icy floor. I got quite sick. There was a bug going around which was quite nasty. That parlayed into a chest infection, which parlayed into pneumonia, which I also then had some other kind of virus going on at the same time, basically stacking them up. I got quite sick. That's when I started with the multivitamins and the electrolytes, try and boost my immune system back up. And then obviously COVID kicked in, which meant we were as sedentary as you could possibly be. Now luckily I had my own office, so I was able to go to my office every day and work away. Deep into COVID, a friend of mine took a photo of me. I've still got it, I'll put it up here, and I was big. Didn't realise how big I'd got. Sometimes it's hard to know how much weight you put on because you don't really see it yourself, especially if you're a bit of mirror adverse like I am. But I was big, so I decided, I got into a bit of cooking, got into sous videing to do the carnivore diet. Rightly or wrongly, it just works for me. There are definitely strands of the carnivore diet where they've gone a little bit deep into the conspiracy theory world. We're not there. At the time, it was just a way of eating, and it's a way of eating that works for me. I've tried all the diets from no fat, Slimming World essentially. Weight Watchers is just a no fat diet really. That's all sins are fat. Tried all the different things, but this is the one that really stuck and I felt good on. Not only did I feel good on, but I had results. Coming towards the end of COVID, when things started opening up, my neighbouring unit was a martial arts centre, and martial arts centres were part of sports centres where they were allowed to open up if social distancing was a thing. My son was already doing kickboxing there, so I joined in as well. I went from 158 kilo down to about 120, but unfortunately towards the end of 2022 I had a bit of a nasty accident. I didn't realise that I'd broken my foot. I thought I just sprained it. Sparring the next day, tried to do a spinning kick. That's right, this fat boy does spinning kicks, and my foot decided it didn't want to work. Also, the person who was sparring it went to throw a big axe kick, a drop down kick type thing. Caught me right up in my knee as I span around. My foot decided not to move, so my knee just got shredded, tore up. Meniscus, tendons, all just kaput. Fun. So, injured, told they wouldn't actually do any repairs until I was down to 75 kilo. Obviously I was 120, so not happening when I can't exercise. And 2020, this is the end of 2022, 2023, weight started coming back on. Now midway through 23, I started going to the gym, started doing a lot of heavy weights, started rebuilding my knee. It was painful, but that's the only option we had. And we got strong. The issue with that was I could not control my diet. My carnivore diet just could not handle and the amount of exercise I was doing. If I still got the numbers, I'll put them up. But I was doing an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. Heavy weights, full body every day. Getting very strong, but not losing the weight. Come the end of 23, November 23, I just made a little side step through a doorway. Tiny side step through a doorway. And my knee popped again. So, 2024, January 2024, you've seen the stats. If you've not seen it, I'll put it up here. Beginning of 2024, we started 30 minutes a day. This is something I've seen on YouTube. James Smith might have been on one of his Instagram posts. Half an hour a day, every day. And that's what we went into. Now, you got to look at the positives. Positives were I have lost weight every year, even marginal amounts. But 2024, I really kind of took the micromanaging of it seriously. So we shoot back to the office and I'll show you what I got on with in 2024 and how we're going to go ahead with this challenge. Because I feel like I'm in a unique position where I tracked everything nicely before. We have 7 months of straight data of straight dieting, straight exercise with a consistent weight loss for that period. So we'll see if Mounjaro actually does anything, because we know what I can lose by doing this normally. So if this stuff's going to do anything extra, we're going to see the numbers. If I lose the same, then we know exercise and dieting was all we ever needed. Let's go out to the office.
So what did I do? Boxing Day 2023, I started the carnivore diet. Now I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of the carnivore diet. It's just something that worked for me when you can stick with it. But it's one of these diets where if you don't stick with it, it can be a bit yo-yo-y, which we get to later in the year. But we started at about 146. We entered January 1st at 143.1. We were going to the gym 5 days a week and then doing 2 days of walking. So the idea was to do 30 minutes of exercise a day. The reason for that was I watched a James Smith video where he's just like, try and do 30 minutes a day. So I was like, 30 minutes a day, that's what we'll do. We had a very strict diet in 2023. I did a lot of gym stuff, but I found it very hard to maintain a diet while pushing heavy weight. So I dialed the weights down, basically brought it into a 30-minute plan that I made for myself. And that's what we did. And in that first month, as you see, we lost 4 kilos. Now, when you look at Mounjaro, it says most people on average lose is it 4% of the body weight? So for me, it would work out about 5 kilo. We already know I can lose 4 kilo a month. I actually did 4 kilo a month every month. Here's August, for example. We started off up here, 146, 143, 139, 137, 135, 132, 128, 125, 123. We ended up at 121 and a bit. So we know we can lose 3.5 to 4 kilo average-ish a month without Mounjaro, just by dieting and exercise alone. So it's going to be interesting to see what this drug does. And as of this morning, which would be the 1st of January, I weighed 138.7. We got sick at the end of November. Christmas kicked in. We'd just come off a very, very strong New Year's Eve last night, which I'm still suffering from today. So my weight this morning is actually a bit elevated. Yesterday morning I went in at about 136, but I'm holding a lot of water weight from the amount of alcohol we consumed last night. So that's kind of where we are. So moving forward into week 1, the plan is to do the same exercise as we did in January 2024. That's 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week. Now I won't be going to the gym this time. I have a torn muscle in my shoulder, so there is no weightlifting. So we're going to be doing 30 minutes of walking a day. And in January 1st in 2024, I didn't do anything because it was New Year's Day. So I didn't do anything today because it's New Year's Day. So starting tomorrow is when we start the 30 minutes a day. We're going to maintain that same thing as we did before. all the way to the end of the month. Now, towards the end of the month, I picked up my exercise. I ended up walking for 30 minutes a day, as well as going to the gym for 30 minutes a day. I was trying to build up strength in my leg at the time, which was another injury. When you get old, you get injured, and the recovery just gets longer and longer, and it gets easier and easier to hurt yourself, apparently. A lot of these people that are younger, fat people who are like, oh, well, it's fine. It's not fine. Trust me. I was a fit kid, so getting injured now, I have a better chance of recovery. You guys who don't do any exercise, you're going to start suffering when you're older because you're not going to have the core strength to actually get through it. But anyway, little rant aside. We're going to stick with the carnivore diet, which consists of me having 1 or 2 coffees in the morning, sometimes with milk, sometimes without. Back then I was having milk, but I weaned myself off milk through the year. Not for any particular reason, just for save the calories, right? That's 300 calories right there, and milks and coffees in the morning. No need to have that. Bone broth in the afternoon. Bone broth, super good, full of vitamins and minerals. And then a big steak. Maybe have a bit of salmon instead. Maybe have some prawns with it. And on days I was really struggling, I'd have maybe an omelette or some scrambled egg. But we'll find out whether or not we need it this time. If this Mounjaro does its job or not. I shouldn't really need anything extra. When it comes to supplements, the only supplements I have is I take creatine, 5 grams a day. I have a multivitamin. I've been taking a multivitamin since I got sick back in 2018. I just take one every day. It's just a basic 7Cs one. It's like £4 for a month's worth. A big old tab, and it's meant to have a bit of everything. But I always found that if I miss that tablet, I can feel it. It's good to have basically everything covered. And the bone broth also helps cover a lot of that as well. I make the bone broth myself. Pressure cooker, loads of bones, bit of apple cider vinegar, let it do its job. Loads of healthy vitamins, minerals, collagen, all that good stuff. And then I have the big steak at the end of the day. The other thing I have as well is an electrolyte, just in case. Electrolyte has everything in it again. Bone broth has everything in it. But if for some reason I miss one, the other's there to like cover that. Especially after a last night's drinking. An electrolyte this morning is something you definitely need because you basically just rinsed all your minerals out your system. And that's basically all I'll be on with for the next month. That's all I did last year when I lost all that weight. And it's all I'm going to do this month. So it's almost identical one-to-one comparison. The only little bit difference is I'm not going to be lifting weights for 30 minutes a day. But to make up for that, I am going to be doing walking for 30 minutes a day. So calorie out is about the same. With that being said, let's get to the week 1 marker and see how we've got on so far.
Alright, so we're actually a day past the first week marker. Yesterday was the second jab. I did film yesterday, but unfortunately, I did it when I was out walking, and in the UK, it was, what is it, the 9th of January, so we've just come off a couple of days of heavy snow up north anyway. And the path was so frozen, I was just slipping and sliding all over the place. And I watched the video back, and while I said everything I needed to say, it was just a broken, incoherent mess because I was too busy focusing on walking. Now, in the previous bit of video, I never really stated my predictions. Now, when it comes to the diet I'm on, I know I'm going to lose a lot of water weight early on, then it's going to level off and then slow down. That's how it worked last year, and when I did carnivore diet before, it always kind of heavy drop at the beginning for the water weight and then stabilized. And we've definitely had that heavy drop. As of yesterday morning, we are 3.8 kilo down from Wednesday to Wednesday. So decent number. It wasn't a straight down. It was a little bit wavy. I'll put a picture up here. Put a picture up here so you can see basically everything. I am tracking my weight every day so you can get an actual graph. Before we get on to side effects and all that kind of stuff, a family member reached out and they are also on the same jab. They actually started 2 days after I did. They are a bit shorter and weigh a little bit less than me, only a few kilo less. And they lost, in the first 4 days, they lost over 4 kilo, 4.4 kilo they've lost. And their partner
isn't doing the jab, but they're just following the same diet. It's basically cutting out all the shit, doing 10,000 steps a day, but they are eating a regular diet, not carnivore diet. They're just doing calorie counting, and the person not on the jab is down 2.8 kilo. So the person on the jab is down 4. The person not on the jab is down 2.8. I'm down 3.8. So numbers going into week 1 are pretty good. Now side effects for me and the person who was also on the jab had very similar. There's fatigue and a bit of brain fog. Brain fog is something that normally clears up very quickly on a carnivore diet. But the lack of sleep is really fucking annoying me, to be honest. It's a proper pain in the ass. The best way I could describe it, and the way I described it to somebody else, was if you've got a hangover, the day after the hangover, you've just got that kind of like tail end of a hangover. You just feel a bit groggy. You're a bit restless. You know, just not 100%. That's how I felt all week. Sleep has been horrid. I get tired about 8, 9 o'clock. I go lay down. By 10 o'clock, I'm wide awake again. I get a couple of hours sleep, 4, 5 o'clock, or 3 to 4 o'clock, really. I wake up. I'm awake again till 5, half 5. Back to sleep for a little, like an extra hour. And then the rest of my day is knackered. Diet-wise, it's been fine. I have noticed a curbing cravings. I do live in a house, unfortunately, where people who like to bring in a lot of shit food, who needs fucking 5 packets of biscuits at one time. It's like half of my McVitie's showed up. Normally, that would be a struggle. I'd see it and I'd want it. And because I've seen it, it'll be there in the back of my head. Go, it's just there. Go have it. And that has been silenced to a degree. But I'm still finding myself generally hungry. So I only eat in the evening when I get home from work. 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm starting to get a bit peckish. But I think that's, actual genuine hunger over cravings. The craving themselves, like I say, have stopped. The other side effect is the dehydration. Now, these jabs have had criticism in the past because of the dehydration. People take the jab, don't read the stuff, end up dehydrated, end up in hospital because they're dehydrated. They're idiots. It's their own fault. The dehydration is wild. It is definitely something you've got to watch out. But other than that, so far, so good. So let's see how we get on for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so we are at the end of week 2, beginning of week 3, and we have had an interesting week. Let's start. So, walking kind of went off the rails a wee bit. Friday, I had a golf lesson. I got asked to go help something with my friend. Ended up getting home till dawn. 10 o'clock, something silly. No walking down on the Friday. Saturday, meant to go out for a drink to catch up with friends who I've not seen in a few years because they've been living abroad. Turned into an all-day session. I did stay, carnivore-ish. Then you had spirits, but with spirits comes hangovers, and with spirits becomes getting very drunk. And boy, was I drunk. Now, maybe it's because of this Mounjaro. I didn't actually eat on the Saturday. I forgot to eat. It just didn't occur to me, which made me very drunk. And then all Sunday night, I didn't get out of bed till like lunchtime Sunday. I still had no urge to eat. I just felt rough. I weighed myself on Sunday when I got up about lunchtime, and I was down 1.6 kilo, which is quite incredible. I'll put the chart up here because you can see what happened. So on Sunday I had a bit of bone broth, had a coffee, I had a small steak. All in all, we're talking 1,200 calories max. Monday morning, when I woke up, I put on 2.8 kilo. I was up to 5 point something. Absolute massive gain. Now, Tuesday we lost 100 grams, and then this morning we actually came back down quite dramatically, down to 134.2. So we're down 500 grams on last week. But it's kind of incredible the impact just an afternoon of drinking can make, even when you're only having like spirits and diet soda. Right, what's a shot of rum, like 60 calories, so 120 calories a drink. The most I probably had is maybe at max like 2,000 calories in alcohol. But the impact it had was absolutely insane. My body just decided to hold on to all water weight, bumped me right back up quite dramatically. But we're back and moving. This next week I have nothing on, so it should all be smooth sailing. The weekend after, so towards the end of the final week, I do have an event which is meant to involve drinking, but I'm probably just going to drive, and driving will definitely keep me from drinking. But alas, that's kind of where we went. That's the experience of drinking while on Mounjaro. With regards to the side effects, they have settled down. I have actually started sleeping through the night again. The first week I just could not settle. I was up and down constantly all night. I'd have 2 hours sleep and wake up, and I just felt shit. I had a bit of a headache all the time. But second week, which we've just obviously finished, sleeping fine. I am noticing not being as hungry as much. It really kind of noticeable after being drunk. I just had, normally when you have a hangover, you want to eat like a pizza or something to kind of, bring yourself back around. But none of that. In fact, eating on the Sunday was actually a struggle because I nearly didn't. I ate out of the fact I knew I needed to put something in my system. So I think it is having an effect with regards to hunger. We'll have to see how we get on over the next 2 weeks. So we've got 2 weeks left. So we had the third jab this morning, fourth jab next Wednesday, and then the Wednesday after is results. So stick with me and we'll see how we get on.
Alright, so we had the last jab this morning. Past week's been pretty uneventful. I had a bit of a cold flu type thing, throat infection-y job over the weekend, but didn't really seem to affect the weight too much. Bit of up and down. I'll put the thing here, the graph for the previous week. But we ended last Wednesday at 134.2. And we entered this morning at 131.8. We've got 1 week left, so obviously it should finish because it's a 4-week dose. But there's actually about 5 doses worth of stuff. They put a bit of extra in there because part of the pump is you've got to prime it to clear through any air, essentially, so you're not injecting air into yourself. But it does leave a bit left, and you do get spare needles. So next Wednesday I will probably use that, and then what I'll do is on the 1st of February we'll have a look at the numbers from the 1st of January to the 31st and kind of look over the whole thing. But so far the weight loss has been pretty steady. This is kind of where I'd expect to be now if I hadn't taken the jab. So it's just a case of seeing what the results will be in the next 10 days essentially. So I'll catch you in the final bit. Okay, so final update. Today is the 31st of January. Just down here in my office. If you can hear a banging, that's why I'm down here instead of my main office, down in my storeroom, because there's some roadworks going off right outside my bloody office window. But results, 9.2 kilo down in January. The people I mentioned previously, the person who was on it is down 9.8 kilo. They had a lot more consistent January than I did. And their partner, who was not on it, but dieting hard, is down 8.9 kilo. So they actually lost quite a lot of weight, which is good, fantastic for them. Now the person who's not on the stuff did have a couple of days where they definitely felt like coming off it and was struggling, with the other person never had that issue. Side effect wise, the headaches and the sleep has been very inconsistent, but it's only me that seems to have struggled from that. The other person on this stuff never had that issue. So it might just be a weird Jono quirk. But that's what we lost. I have this morning, well actually I took it last night, the 5 milligram, because I thought, sod it, 10 kilo in a month nearly, we might as well crack on and see how we end up in a few months. It took me 3 months to lose that weight last year. It's done it in a month this year. I have a knee surgery that I need, but they won't do it. The NHS won't do it until I'm a lot lighter. So I might as well crack on and get that sorted. But that's where we are with that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you try this? For me, the side effects are kind of outweigh the benefits outweigh the side effects. I can manage a headache and I can manage a bit of sleep issue. But yeah, it's a lot of weight to lose in a month. Sustainability, long term, I think the idea is you're meant to do it long term, so you get into a habit of eating a certain way, and then as you bring yourself off it, you continue eating a certain way. There are stories of people basically putting all that weight back on because they stop, they lose the 10 kilos, start eating shit again, and they come straight back on. But that's the same with any diet. It's not specific to this drug. But yeah, there we go. Make sure to like and subscribe. Got random content coming.